I would highly recommend just seeking advice wherever you could. So I really did have a good experience by using a financial advisor. As a first-time buyer, you don't know what normal should be in those situations. When they tell you that this is how we do it,
Yes.
you do fall in line a little bit.
Have you got plans for the property?
We didn't have to do anything, which was so lucky, and again something that we were looking for in the search.
Right.
But we've decorated. I've made it my own, which is really exciting.
Good.
And we love it.
And it's obviously in an area that you were familiar with what you were investing in anyway.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And how long do you think it'll be home for?
So we're on a fixed rate mortgage for 5 years, so at least 5 years.
Yeah.
But I think longer.
How did you choose your solicitor, your conveyancer?
So we were recommended 4, I think, by the estate agent.
Right.
And to be honest, we just blindly picked one. The promise from them that was different to the other ones was a tracker, a process tracker. So you can log into the system and find out where you are at within the process.
Yeah.
On the face of it, it sounded brilliant. In practice, we stayed on 12% for a long time. So it actually added to my frustrations that we weren't moving forward. So yes, very annoying.
It does worry me when I hear, and I'm not saying you did, but people do choose a solicitor, the conveyance of the most important deal of their life, and they choose it on price.
Yep.
If this, it's good conveyancing is a real skill.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's detailed, and it's also about personalities, and there's a lot involved, and there's got to be good advice, and you've got to perhaps take a view every now and again, and it's a tough one. It sounds like you found your relationship with solicitors actually quite tricky.
Very tricky, and even if I knew that I needed to shop around, I wouldn't know what questions to ask.
No,
Someone
you've
to
not done it
interview
before.
someone, I wouldn't know how to check their credibility. So
Yeah.
it is a very difficult decision.
I think, it's a bit like a doctor, that you think there's a solicitor, there's a doctor, there's an accountant, they're professional, they've got their qualifications, they're all great. Mm-hmm. But actually, there were good ones and bad ones, just in the way that there were good football players and bad football players.
Yeah. Yeah.
Better ones and cheaper ones, more expensive ones, more reliable. That's life.
Yeah.
But your home, it's a business deal, but at the same time, there's an awful lot of other things wrapped up in you wanting that to be your home.
Yes, as quick as possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
Given your experiences, have you any advice for other first-time buyers in your situation who are thinking about the process?
I would highly recommend just seeking advice wherever you could. So I really did have a good experience by using a financial advisor, felt very supported, and like we've said, picking the right solicitor, doing your research into what you want out of that relationship, going to meet them, check that you get on as humans as well.
Yes, because these deals, and the same with estate agents, so I give the same advice to people when they're selling, considering an estate agent, is it might take a long time. Yeah. It's likely to be emotional, stressful, money, you may be dealing with these people for months over a very torrid time. You've got to be confident that you're going to be able to do that, and everyone's going to be able to get on, and the kind of ground rules are set at the beginning.
Yes.
I think that is good advice. How about your relationship with the estate agent? How were they?
They were good. They had their moments. I think probably all estate agents do. But
well, they are working for the seller, not the buyer.
Yes,
Yeah.
but they were very good. We ended up using them for a lot of our viewing, so we had a relationship with them by the time that we came to buy, which was lucky. But in the end, they were the ones that pushed us over the edge to get some money back from the vendor. They called me and said, there's been a delay. Where is the delay? What do we need to do in order to get this happening? And I told them we just needed a gesture, which we then got.
Okay.
So I feel like they sorted it out in the end, which was really good.
Good to hear. And your relationship with the vendor, if you felt that they were taking the oven or taking the towel rail, did that get a bit fraught? Did it get a bit personal?
It did and it didn't. Obviously, you don't get any contacts with them, which I really struggled with, because I feel like I had a case to speak to someone that, we did deserve the oven, and we had reasons why we wanted to be in sooner rather than later. But we only saw him the The first viewing, we did go back with my parents for a second viewing, and then on the day of completion, I met him there to get the keys.
What, no agent?
No, just me and him as well, which, to be honest, was quite intimidating. Maybe not in normal circumstances, but with the back and forth that we've had, I'd never intended it to get nasty, but we were complaining that they'd been on a lot of holidays, so I guess it did get a bit nasty. I met with him and he gave me the keys, and it felt very strange that he didn't come into the house with me, purely because I was going straight in to check that we had everything that we'd been promised. And again, the plug sockets and things that we hadn't even talked about, the fireplace, everything like that. So yes, it did feel quite intimidating as a first-time buyer and as a young woman going to do that by yourself.
Whereas in the normal course of events, actually you pick the keys up from the estate agencies.
Yeah,
and
I
go
wouldn't
around
know. That's how it felt. You know, I received a call on the day saying, I've heard you've pre-arranged to just go to the property. So I said, okay, I'll do that.
If it ever happens again, there is something called a pre-completion check.
Okay.
That I would only advise in situations where there has been a bit of angst, or if the vendor has promised to do something or promised not to do something, like clear out the stuff from the garden shed or the attic's full, and you actually, before you hand the money over, somebody needs to go and have a look, just to check that everything is as it should be. Pre-completion check. It's worthwhile just to settle in everybody's mind, and also I'd probably also suggest that people set that up in advance so everybody knows, look, you've agreed to clear out the loft. Just for my own peace of mind, I'm going to do a completion check with the morning of or the day before, so it's not like a surprise. Yeah,
absolutely, that would have been lovely. And as a first-time buyer, you don't know what normal should be in those situations. You do sort of take the lead of the estate agent who you trust. You know, you grow to like them throughout the process, and when they tell you that this is how we do it, you do fall in line a little bit. But in hindsight,
but you do have to remember that they are working for the other side.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, happy?
Yes, thank
Congratulations.
You. Thank you.
I think it's a happy story.
Yes.
It had its moments, but actually, in the grand scheme of things, you've pulled off a blinder, haven't you?
Thank you.
You have. I hope it's home for a very long and happy time. I'm sure it will be.
Thanks.